Hello everyone, this is Shirobhi and welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is my booktube channel, The Caffeinated Reader. I hope you are all doing very well and adding great health and happiness. So in today's video, as you have already figured out from the thumbnail, it is going to be 10 problems and 2 books. That is, if you are facing 10 problems in 10 different directions of your life, then I hope this book covers up almost all of those problems, because at least I felt when I read those books. And it is not like these books will come and recover you or rescue you from any situation, but they will give you tips and tricks and how you should deal in those situations, which will eventually help you figure out how you should be dealing in the situations and overcome those problems. So in a way you can say that yes, it is doing the things you are expecting from it, because I personally felt very helped when I was reading those books and in crucial times of my life. So I can definitely say you that yes, these are very good books and you can definitely give it a try. Also, you don't need to be scared if this book is like beginner friendly or not. Trust me, both of them are very beginner friendly, and anyone, even a person who has just started reading or will be like trying to explore more, can give this a read. So it is a very beginner friendly recommendation, something you'd enjoy also, and yes, suited for every age group. So yes, with that being said, let's get started into today's video. Now, the first book that I would be recommending in today's video is this book by a very favorite human of mine in this entire planet. Is this book called Do Epic Shade by Ankur Warikoo. I think you might be seeing, can you see the glossy cover? Yes, you can see it's a really cute cover and also a very classy cover, and the it says on your face, do epic shit, like you should do it, okay? You should do it. Like, why are you waiting for it? You should do it. Okay, so if you don't know, Ankur Warikoo is a finance enthusiast. He is an angel investor. He creates content in YouTube, and I really love those, because he's just not some finance geek or some finance guru, but he is also a person who gives inspirations, life's lessons from his own personal life, and you will always find something to take from his videos. He always has something to give to you, because the amount of struggles he has faced, trust me man, I cannot even imagine to go all through of them with such optimism, the way he has showcased, like to take risk upon risk and then come to a stage where he is now. So I really feel so respect for this man, because he has handled them so beautifully when everything he could do was just lament. So yes, that's just a brief thing I wanted to talk about or say about him. But in this book, Do Epic Shit, he talks about almost everything, like money, personal life, relationships, workspace, education, children, wife, almost everything, like how you should handle your colleagues, how you should handle your friends, how you should handle your money, how you should handle your life in general. And he gives various life lessons from his own life, and I really enjoyed those. And also he shares his mistakes, what mistakes he did at different stages of his life, like the mistakes he did when he was at the age of 20, or in the range of 20 to 30, or when he was in the range of 30 to 40, or when he started out in his life or in his personal space. He lists them down in a way that you find it very chronological and to follow up and not repeat them, right? And he says it in the most simplest of the terms, without creating some like very big or something like complex thing in that. Okay, so yes, I really loved. I will just say the synopsis here written: 3 relationships that define almost everything that happens to us in our lives. The relationship we have with money, the relationship we have with time, and the relationship we have with ourselves. And that is very true. I feel the last 2 defines our relationship more, the relationship we have with time, the relationship we have with ourselves, because I have personally experienced those 2 in my life, and I know how a disbalance in any of the 2 factors creates a big difference in the entire life. And many of the times when we were not cautious enough, the effects are in the negative direction. So yes, I really loved it. As you can see, I have marked a lot, because he has so many things to say. If you can see, I have marked. Also, one other best thing of this book is, like, let me show you. So let's say, so this is one page, okay, and he is summarizing everything in this one page, whatever he needs to say. So someday you pick up one book and you will find everything you want to read about that content in that one page. And this is another good thing about this book. I really loved, like, how he kept or summarized everything in this one book, or in one page, all the things you want to say. At most it ranges to 1.5 pages, but most of the chapters is only on one page. Of course, when he's saying about the mistakes, or when he's saying about habits or something like that, of course that will take some pages, because he's listing them down. But the broad themes which he wants to talk about is always in one page. Having said that, I also felt like this is a very good thing for a beginner to start upon, or a person who is just starting with non-fiction. This is a very, very good thing, because you will not feel bored enough or like tedious enough to continue with so many chapters or so many pages. But I personally feel like if the thing was in trying to summarize it up, that is the only one drawback I felt, and there is no other drawback. So this drawback is for people who have read non-fictions, like a lot of them. So it is for them, not for beginners. So for beginners, I don't feel you are going to find any drawback. Of course you may find, but from my perspective, I found none from a beginner level. It is for those people who have read tons of non-fiction. For them, maybe you will find many of the things you already know about it, or whatever he said, because of course he has said from his perspective, so many of the things you would have already come across, said in a different light. So some of the new things which you would want to know more, maybe you would find it a little lesser in amount, since the content was summarized in 1 or at most 1.5 pages. So you might be wanting that if Wariko dealt upon that subject a little more, because see, Wariko is writing it from his perspective that the person will want to know only this much. Maybe he will want to know the broad sum, or he is explaining it just like we will be talking to our friends. Like see, the thing is, he has dealt very casually with the people. Like he is like, hey dude, what's up, what's the problem, let's discuss it. And in that tone he has maintained the entire content of this book. So you are going to find it very friendly enough, not very preachy. So that is the thing. However, having said that, as I said, my problem, that is only a minor problem. Like since he maintained it very casually, and he tried to sum up everything in this one book, so that it is your one-stop destination. Like you don't need to roam about in many places. You find solutions to almost everything in one book. Things are summarized a little enough in a concise format, right? And because of that, since I already knew many of these things, but a new or a certain new factors or certain new chapters which I would have loved, like he discussed it a little in depth, I didn't find that. That's the only drawback. Like I felt like if Wariko had dealt with it a little longer, like if you would explain this factor this much, or and this is not for every topic, okay, right? Let me tell you this is not for every topic, but this is for like certain chapters, not all of those chapters. So that is a very, very, very minor problem I felt in this book. Other than that, this book is best, like truly best, just like Wariko. I love this man so much, like the way he is so casually gorgeous in everything he says, in everything he does. I love it. Don't consider my bias for him as my reason of suggesting this. This book is really very good, and if you're a beginner, this should be your first book you should be picking up to get your one-stop solutions to every problems. What is happening? Every problem. And if you are into the intermediate zone or in advanced level of reading, you can give this book definitely a try. You might be knowing many of these things, but you will always find something new from another person's perspective. You might have forgotten the thing you knew, and you might remember this after you read this. So yes, the first book is Do Epic Shit. Now, the second and the last recommendation for today's video is this gorgeous book called Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King. How self-love is the key to unlocking your greatness. If you ask me to rate or tell the top 3 books from my non-fiction books I have read till date, or even from fiction and non-fiction both combined, this book is always going to be in the top 3. That's the love I have for this book. Vex King is a god in non-fiction. Trust me. See, now I am in my post-graduation doing my masters in economics. So during my entrance days, when the things were not very good enough, or when things were not in the best of the states, both academical and there were certain other pressures in my life, I started with this book. Trust me, at that moment I didn't feel that I could go afloat with the pressures that the life were throwing on me. But maybe it was God sent at the moment, because I truly believe in universe, and that this may sound wildly crazy, because anything that happens in my life, I have always trusted in universe. I don't know what others think, what you viewers who are watching this think, but I am a very big believer in God, a very big believer in the universe, because in my life I have seen certain situations where things wouldn't have turned up how they would if not the universe would have interrupted. And yes, my trust for it generates from the fact that I have experienced those moments, right? So during those times when my entrance prep was at its highest peak and things were not very like easy going, both academic, mental, physical, all ways it was little troublesome, this book came my way. That is last year it came my way, and I cannot explain to you how much I love this book. There are times when you read a book and you realize that you don't want the book to end. This was the case with this book. I was not in a very good state to even read a book, trust me, and that time this was gifted by a very dear friend of mine. So whenever I feel stuck in my life and I feel like I need to know where I am in my life and someone help me please, this is the one book I always rush to. And trust me, this is the one book I will suggest everyone in this planet to give a read. Let me share something very personal with you all. So I have been selected as a member of the training and placement cell of my department and also the of a faculty from where I belong in my post graduation. And during the interview round, one of the seniors asked me, so if we would ask you to recommend us a book, which book would you recommend me? Like she asked for herself, and this was one of the books that came first in my head, and like I blurted it out even without realizing that yes, do I need to think about this book? No, I don't need to think about this book. This is the trust I have on this book. So you are understanding, right? Even in such critical situations, this book is a spontaneous response. So highly recommended. So enough of personal gossips. So now let me tell about this book. Let me tell you a little about the synopsis. Okay, how can you learn to truly love yourself? How can you transform negative emotions into positive ones? Is it possible to find lasting happiness? In this book, Instagram guru Vex King answers all of these questions and more. Vex overcame adversity to become a source of hope for thousands of young people and now draws from his personal experience and his intuitive wisdom to inspire you to practice self-care, overcome toxic energy and prioritize your well-being. Cultivate positive lifestyle habits including mindfulness and meditation. Change your beliefs into inviting great opportunities into your life. Manifest your goals using tried and tested techniques. Overcome fear and flow with the universe. Find your higher purpose and become a shining light for others. In this book, Vex will show you that when you change the way you think, feel and speak and act, you begin to change the world. I am a person who finds like actual inspiration or actual motivation I derive from spiritual books or the spiritual writers who write the books. I will be making a video soon on this topic itself, like 3 or 4 books I'll be recommending you because I don't find enough recommendations on that topic. Anyways, so in this, as I was saying, so I find my majority of my doubts being cleared from spiritual books because I find almost all my answers all to the questions I was having deep down some way or the other they being answered, and people who are into the path of enlightenment or who are seeking that, I feel they almost know the answers to whatever I am feeling to, because generally my questions are not very are superficial related to the materialistic things, so those are something different and that's a different concept. But yes, generally I do feel in that way. But since this book is not written by a spiritual guru, as in the say like a saint or a monk or something like that, so you might so I was at first thinking, will it be useful for me or will I be really very inclined towards it, because generally it doesn't help much. I was highly excited to read about this book, but I was also not very sure because I haven't explored any book by Vex King and I don't know if it is his debut book. I'm not very sure. He has another book, Healing is the New High, which I'm really planning to read very soon. I will buy that one very soon. So yes, but trust me, I am so thankful to the friend who sent me this as my birthday gift, and also to the universe for making me read this book. If this book wouldn't have been there, let me say you very straight, I wouldn't be in this position today. This book kept me afloat when my exam preps, academic stress and other mental stresses were extreme. This book was the only book. This book is not very thick. It's around 240 or 250 pages, but I took around 2-3 months to read this book. I just wanted to go with it very slow. I just didn't want to finish the book because I felt as if someone was clasping my hand and taking me towards the other side of good life, towards the other side of positive thinking through this book. And I don't know if I am making sense, but this book was a true companion to me in those turbulent times. So yes, highly recommended. Please do give this book a read. Almost all your problems would be solved, I think, or at least they would answer your questions, or your questions would be answered from the tips and tricks discussed by Vex King in this book. And I would be highly recommending you once again to give this book a try, because it deserves the hype, it deserves the worth it has, because it is also a very popular book and also a bestseller, and it deserves all the recognition because it has truly changed lives. At least for me it has done that. So yes, the second book is this. If you are confused between which book to pick up first, I would recommend you do Epic Shit first. Pick up Epic Shit first and read that, because once you read this, things will not be things in Epic Shit will not find you so appealing. So do Epic Shit first and then come to this book, and you will have all the answers ready for your problems. I hope almost all the answers. I hope you loved today's video, because I really loved shooting the video recommending the 2 books to you, and I love shooting and recommending you all the books I recommend. But I generally try to recommend you books that will be really useful, thinking from the perspective that what would I have required if I was in a situation like this, or from a audience perspective I try to think, and then I recommend you the book so that it is useful, not only entertaining. So yes, that's that. Hope you loved the video. Coming to today's positive quote, I would like to say something from this book called Good Vibes Good Life. Before you try to fix someone else's vibe, make sure you are not killing your own in the process. Protect your own energy first. From this book called Good Vibes Good Life, which I just now recommended. And yes, that's very true, because if you are not protecting your own self, how will you protect another? Because you are already drained. So protect your own energy first and then go to protect another, because charity begins at home, right? So yes, that's that. Hope you loved the video. If you did like it, comment what you liked, what you think I can improve, what other changes I can bring in my video. Subscribe to my channel if you feel that whatever the content you are finding in the channel is useful, entertaining and makes you happy, whatever you, and share it with your friends, family, close ones and everybody you think would love to watch my videos and find joy. So yes, that's that. Do like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the good things that's necessary for me and for the growth of my channel. Till the next time, bye bye.